Okay, all right, y'all. What's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another breakdown prediction video here. I'm gonna do this more like a little discussion video. I ain't gonna be on here too long, but I just want to go ahead and give you my breakdown and pick for Angela Lee versus Stan Fairtex Atomweight Championship fight. This is a fight I've been looking forward to. I've been trying to get around to go ahead and drop this video because some of y'all asked me about my pick, so I said, okay, I'm gonna do it on fight week. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this one. Angela Lee, she's been out of the octagon. She's been out of the cage for a few years now. That inactivity, I know it has to play some type of factor. But she is a highly skilled fighter. She's tough. I just went back and watched some of the fights I've seen before with her. But I had to give her a lot of credit just because she's a tough warrior in there. Angela Lee, she took time out to have a kid, and before that, she had gotten into an accident. So I was like, wow, she's just been through so much, but she still continues to fight on. Some people call her hyped. I don't. I think Angela Lee is a very solid champion. I think she brings a lot to the table, and she's one of those fighters that finds ways to win, and that's very important. Somebody that commits, even if they make a few mistakes here and there. Angela Lee is still a very, very resilient champion. Stan Fairtex. Oh man. I've been talking about Stan Fairtex for a while now, and like I said, she's definitely one of my favorite fighters and just entertainers in the game. You know what I mean? Like, she brings that entertainment level, like I said, like a Street Fighter game. Like, it's not too over the top, and it's not too like provocative and too wild. Like when she does her little dances in there, it's more entertaining. And I like that energy. But when she transitions to fight mode, she's a killer, right? She finds that balance. Like, she's entertaining on the way there. She's smiling, she's giggling, she's doing this dance. But when she gets in there to fight, she's ready to go. And, the one thing about her over the past few years, Stan Fairtex, she's been really, really putting everything together. And that's why I said, when you see that big picture, you'll progress. You will improve as a fighter. Stan Fairtex, a lot of people just think of her as a Muay Thai fighter or, kickboxer. But over the past few years, she really has been willing to grapple. She really has been working on her jiu-jitsu. And when she gets down there on the ground, she's giving these girls trouble. And, over the past few months, this last year, she's made a lot of improvements. She's definitely made a lot of improvements on her game, and she's not afraid to go down there, So you got two solid warriors here, one that's been inactive, still holds that belt, but you got one over here that's been improving a lot. And, she's defeated everybody to get here. So yeah, it's going down, man. But let's look at Stan Fairtex, what she needs to do going into this fight real quick. I'm going to be kind of brief and just, I'm not really going to put down a whole bunch of keys to victory here. I'm going to just kind of go down 2 points and kind of go off of these going into this fight here, because sometimes I've kind of based my keys to victory off of like the round by round process on how fighters should approach it. But with the way 1FC does it, it's all judged as a whole, right? It's all judged as a whole fight. So, there's like two main things I need to see Stan Fairtex doing here, which I'm going to kind of go down through here right now. So let me pull up some info on Stan Fairtex. So for Stan Fairtex, number one, she's a hard hitter. She commits to those kicks. She's a very strong Muay Thai fighter. And, for the most part, she can really dictate the pace and control fights with her Muay Thai. But in this fight, I think one of the main things she needs to do is don't overcommit against a fighter like Angela Lee, because Angela Lee, she's going to be willing to throw, and when she throws those combinations, she'll hit you with something, and on the way in, she'll push her way in to get you down to the ground, right? So I think for Stan Fairtex, number one, don't overcommit, meaning she needs to be smarter with her kick selection. I think she needs to pick her shots where she throws her kicks. I think she needs to go more for the head and go more for the calf kicks and behind the knees. Don't go for too many body kicks early on. Maybe a front kick to the body here and there, off a combination, but don't be throwing too many body kicks, because that's where I think Angela Lee, she'll be able to find success and grab a leg or go for that single leg and take Stan Fairtex down. Granted, Stan Fairtex good on the ground. She's been working on it, but you don't want to go down to the ground and grapple like Angela Lee, especially whenever Angela Lee's striking isn't as up to par is Stan Fairtex. So she's got to be smart with her selection. Don't overcommit with too many kicks and be predictable, or think you can just continue to pop her with these shots, because she's going to be looking to grab something. So got to be smart with it, attack the calves, go for the head kicks, ignore the midsection for the most part until you can really like break her down with them, and also don't overcommit to like throwing too many hard shots. Like I know Stamp, she throws with intensity on everything, and sometimes she'll kind of do that little spin when she throws. And like if she misses one, she'll kind of spin right back into position. But as she's spinning, after she misses, that's going to leave opening up for Angela Lee. Angela Lee might see that spin go right in for a body like a takedown, right? So I think Stamp Fairtex, she needs to throw with that assertiveness, but, just that half kick, that 90-degree kick where you just commit halfway and then boom, go right back to your stance. You know what I mean? So I don't want to see her like throw too many hard kicks where that leaves her open and, at the same time can wear her down, because I know Angela Lee is probably going to looking to push the pace of this fight, right? So, yeah, that's one of the main things I would say for her. Don't overcommit. Be smart with the kick selection. Just attack calf, head kicks, and just throw with just enough intensity to keep your opponent back and, keep popping that jab in the grappler's face. You got to throw that jab in this fight. I know sometimes she commits those kicks. You got to overcommits the kicks. You got to throw a lot of jabs in this fight, I think, off of those kicks. You have to keep that jab in the face to really, really keep Angela Lee back. Angela Lee, her defense isn't very good when it comes to her striking. So I need to see more 1-2s, straight shots down the pipe from Stamp Fairtex. Also, number 2, I would definitely have to say is grapple only if you have to. Don't try to get fancy in this fight. Don't look for the takedowns yourself unless you want to just cap off a round and maybe get in some work and Angela Lee is hurt to try to go in for the kill. But even then, I would say don't force the fight down to the ground. Only grapple if you have to, just to show your skills. Like keep your back to the cage, show that strength, do your sprawl and use that strength to keep this fight standing, just to really make Angela Lee overexert herself, because Stamp Fairtex is strong. She's very strong, and I think that's one of the things that she needs to do in this fight is just use her physical strength to keep this fight standing. But if she has to grapple, get down there, and show your skills, show how you can transition to that top position and you can control and get full mount, use that strength on the ground. Like I said, just only use those skills if Lee takes you down. Another thing, got to use that tie clinch in this fight. Whenever Angela Lee goes in there, you got to go and lock up for that tie clinch and work those knees to the body, break with elbows, and be rough and rugged in there, and then go right back to that patient technical style that she can do at a range and just pick her apart. All right. So for Angela Lee, like I said, Angela Lee, I think she's one of those fighters that has a lot of rawness to her, but at the same time, whenever she's on the ground, man, she's resilient. She shows her toughness and she shows those ways to win. I just think she kind of lacks in defense and her striking isn't the best. But the thing is, she still wants to do it. She can still get off shots. She can still get off shots here and there. So I think for Angela Lee in this fight, she's not going to win a distance battle or mid-range fight. I think, number one, she's got to push the fight in this one. I think she definitely has to push the fight. You got to get it on the inside of the Muay Thai fighters' leg kicks and the body kicks and head kicks if they come. You got to stay on her chest. I think she has to push the fight and let some combinations go in this one. I know her strike has probably improved more since the last couple fights, like against Zhang Zidong, who was lighting Angela Lee up. I'm telling you, she was lighting her up in that first round and a couple rounds in between. So I need to see her let combinations go to just kind of fluster Stamp Fairtex and push Stamp Fairtex back. You have to keep Stamp Fairtex off of her balance of that Muay Thai style and just push her back with combinations, so that way you can open up those opportunities to get her to the ground. Also, use little feints. Never give Stamp a clear target. You got to keep moving side to side and just keep feinting with it. You have to feint a little bit and shoot in for, feint like you're shooting in for takedowns, but throw them long shots out, throw a long jab out to knock her off balance. So it has to be a mix up here, but it has to be a bit of a higher pace where Stamp can't really play chess here at a mid-range. Close quarters, man. This is another big thing, I think, is just fighting in close quarters. You got a dirty box and brawl. She's not the best from a range. She could get picked apart from Stamp Fairtex, I think. So you got to keep this fight in close quarters. You have to keep it pinned against the fence and working elbows and body shots as much as you can. Just really make it an all-around dirty fight for me and go for those takedowns. You got to get this fight down to the ground. If you think you're the better grappler here, you have to keep this fight down. And you have to maul and get that ground control. I was just looking at a couple of her fights against the one Brazilian she had fought and lost a close decision to, I was like, wow, she was doing really well, even for top position in that one. I can't remember her name, last name starts with the R right now, but I can't remember off top. But I thought Angela Lee, she did pretty well, using her jiu-jitsu in that fight. So somebody like Angela Lee, who's a little bit more comfortable on the ground and has a few more years in, I think, that's definitely where she's going to want this fight. It's definitely not going to be a situation where she'll want to stand for too many rounds with Stan Fairtex. Like I said, all the while, she has to be pushing the fight with punches and strikes, but that's just to get it to the ground. Just like the dirty brawl in it, you just want to land a few good shots in there, but then you want to scoop her up or get that tripping takedown and take this fight to where you want to be. So, yeah, man, this is going to be a good fight, I think. I think that early on in this one, they're going to show each other a lot of respect. Maybe like the first couple rounds, I think Stamp is going to get off some good leg kicks in this one. But I think you're going to see, after taking a few shots, you're going to see Angela Lee want to push the pace in it, probably like towards the end of the first round and second round. She's going to be looking for takedowns. And you might see Stamp get taken down a few times, but she's going to pop back up. And you're going to see her control distance throughout that mid part of the fight, just land some really good kicks and some good shots on the inside, with her jab. There is going to be some rounds that are going to be spent on the ground. I think there is, and it's going to be really close to call. I still say on the ground, Angela Lee, I would have to favor her more. I really think that Stan Fairtex, her jiu-jitsu, as she uses it more like a defense mechanism, it will work in her favor more so, just to get back up or even like defend off submissions. So that's where I would see her using her jiu-jitsu more in this fight when she gets taken down. And that'll make the rounds kind of close, I think. But I think the offense on the ground is going to favor more of Angela Lee. So with that, the way it would come down to it, I have to factor in the inactivity. I just have to factor in the improvements of Stan Fairtex throughout the past few years and just her activity and her power. I'll have to go with, I think it's going to be a very close fight. I think it's going to go to the decision, to the cards. So I'm going to have to go with Stan Fairtex by close decision in this one. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think they're going to give it their all. And there's going to be some close submission moments here. If anything, Angela Lee might be able to pull off a submission if it goes down to the ground for too many rounds. But I think if Stan Fairtex can keep it going on her feet, I'm going to have to go with Stan Fairtex by a close decision in this one. Just because I have to factor in that layoff too, man. She's been out for 2 years. And again, like I said, that's not, I was telling somebody else, that's, okay, you might be in the gym working, and you have beaten a high level of opponents before, but you got to look at who she's facing. Like Stan Fairtex ain't no slouch. Stan Fairtex has been improving over the past couple years in her absence, right? So that type of fighter is very dangerous for somebody, who's making their return. So I have to go with Stan Fairtex in this one because I think she has everything she needs to beat a fighter that's been on a layoff and hasn't been in there for a while now. So, I mean, Angela Lee, she definitely offers a lot, but I still have to look at that type of inactivity here, especially when you're facing this type of improving fighter. So, yeah, Stan Fairtex for me, guys. Let me know in the comment section who y'all got. Got a couple more predictions to do here, so let me get on that. Just make sure y'all subscribe. Let me know in the comment section who y'all got. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.